Good morning, everybody. I guess you probably thought I wasn't going to be here. Sorry, my hair's not dry. So let's say hello to everybody. Chase and Cavell. Carol, good morning. Chase again. Kathy. And Chase again. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming to my channel. And let's see what we're going to go to today. First, let's do our mantra. All right. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. We'll call in Mother and Father and Jesus and all the masters and all the angels to come and surround us for this little gathering we do every day, at least Monday through Thursday, right? And to be supportive for us. Just putting it out there, if anyone had anything that happened over this weekend and they wanted insight about it, just write it down. You know, the world is in an upheaval. You just never know what's next. I want to remind you that know that you're safe as long as you carry the essence of Mother and Father in your heart. It may not always look wonderful like how you want it to be, but remember there's such a thing as called God's will, not your will is where you need to change to. So if there's a lesson for you going on, then you want to stop and think about it. Well, why isn't this? And, you know, as you grow and consciousness moves. Good morning, Barbara Ward. Things have to be different. Your perceptions have to change. So is it something like that? Is it very simple? And yet some of us have those down-to-earth issues, and we don't know what to do with them or don't know where to turn. Then you want to sit and get quiet and go within your heart. I know this week, Jesus, when he comes, is going to talk about the Sacred Heart and how he finds power in it and share that with you. So we need to pray for all these people now in Mississippi who also been victim to floods. Just the same as all around the world, there's people that it's too hot and their fields are burning up and they're just tilling them over. Good morning, Sherry Kirk. Thank you for joining us. You know, it's a wonderful day when you can take a breath and to be happy to be here and alive and in the being of your soul, moving towards your eternal spirit. And may that be the blessed energy for all souls to be able to discover all that for themselves. So I wanted to talk about kindness today. How are we kind in our normal day? And first of all, we must talk about how we're kind to ourselves. And I would say the action of coming here and listening to the word of light would be a kindness to yourself. Marby, good morning. But you need to find out, well, what else is it that you do that's kind to yourself? How do you take care of your body? Do you buy yourself roses or flowers every once in a while? Just to remind you that your flowers are alive within you. A lot of people don't know there's flowers in your chakras. And at some point you'll understand how that happens and how they work. But flowers are sweetness. And, think about the smoothness of a rose and that texture. And what if that were you? What if you were that beauty? What if instead of what is? So maybe one day you would know, oh, I am this too. I am this. So like Barbara, we do wish everyone blessings this week. And for each individual, that's going to be different because each individual needs it in a different way. Perhaps someone in your family has an illness. And we wish and ask for God's magical light to come down and touch them and to bring them whatever they need. And realize for some people it's going to be a lesson that needs to be learned. And that's just something we need to realize because we're on earth. And that is what it's about. Lessons that need to be learned. And it comes a place in your journey that's the first thing you ask. What's this lesson all about? Instead of being in the grind of the distortion and the pity party that, oh gosh, this has happened again. Instead ask, well, why has it happened? Let those who are in your team around you and mother and father inside your heart begin to share with you. Why is this happening? What do I need to look at? Because beyond it is a new life. And I say that a little broad thinking. Doesn't mean you're going to go move somewhere or change how it is. But your perception is going to be different. And why do I say that? Because we're on this channel to raise consciousness. It's TheoSophia Rising. I'm helping people rise out of where they are. And what that means is as you have a greater level of consciousness come to you, how that demonstrates itself is you begin to see things from a different point of view. You find different answers. You have an understanding. So perhaps this next time you want to sit a little bit for a few minutes and just ask yourself, how else could this show itself to me? How else could this be here? And why is it feeling so uncomfortable? All these wonderful things we can learn about ourselves. And then there's the love. I even know love and kindness are spoken together, and yet they're very different. Love comes from a place inside of our heart that's sacred. And that's why I say there's so much more love every time you do a healing that will reveal itself to you. And it will begin to become such a treasure in your life to know that you can be touched by that love and then be one who can allow your heart to radiate it out to other people. Yes, love and kindness. And what if we all agreed today that this week we're going to ask that every movement we make, every thought that we think is going to be filled with loving kindness, whether it's for someone else or always for ourselves? Does it matter? No, it doesn't, because we are all one. But let's see how different your life feels, how different you become if loving kindness is that which you move from and act from and think about. Remember, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, but thoughts are things. Whatever you're thinking about today is going to show up in the next week or so. So today, starting today, all we think about is loving kindness. What could possibly occur in your life to create changes? So now, for this week, next week, it will be just a beautiful experience. And then you can even do more loving kindness. So I'm trying to allow what you're thinking to come to me. So if anyone has something to give back to me, let me know. Any buts? Yeah. Any buts? All the children are, well, some of them, I know my grandchildren in Pennsylvania started back to school today. One loved the idea. The little one, he didn't want to go. He was too tired. He didn't think he felt well. He wasn't going to be going tomorrow. Into third grade. And I said, he wants it to be all about the Roblox. And I said, well, there's so much more to learn and to do at school than in Roblox. I said, you need to get excited about what you don't know. Well, there's a lot I don't know. I said, well, then you better get to school tomorrow and find out what that is and learn about it. He wouldn't believe me. I said, that's all right. I'll let your mother handle it. But perhaps ourselves, we didn't know to get so encouraged about what was before us because we didn't allow it. Have you ever wished now you went back and been the adult when you were at school with all that opportunity? At least when it didn't cost so much, right? And this little guy spent 2 or 3 of the younger years in a private school. And it's not all awakened. But I'm sure he's not the only one. The last couple of years have been challenging for children and the mask and all that type of thing. Even in families, I'm sure there's still left, whatever you want to call it. But more love and kindness can heal all that. You might not see it immediately, but when you have a continuum, I think that's what's missing, is a continuum of the same. I'm looking to see. Oh, he has card packages up on my other bookcase. I'm like, what is that over there? Because we don't have my background up or anything in here yet. So tell me what you think about our conversation today about loving kindness and to spend your week offering it to you. And when's the last time maybe you grabbed your husband, if those of you who have one, and just gave him a hug, and it didn't have to mean for anything other than to love them. So many times that all gets lost. Thank you, Chase. What a beautiful thought. Yes. I was sorry I didn't get my room all finished, but even though the place is smaller, all our stuff, it doesn't look like it's going to fit. Our whole dining room table is filled with statues and stones, and they're like friends to us, so we have to find some place for them to join us in this venture. I don't think I've seen you all. Yes, maybe I did show you the sunlight outside. It's been a beautiful weekend to be able to sit with that water and feel such the aliveness of it. So what is it for you in your life that brings you to that space that God's with you? He's touched you. He's brought you this special experience into your life and makes it thrive, gives it life. Tell everyone knows so everyone can help to begin to understand. It's what it's all about, is becoming vulnerable to speak the truth and how you feel, and know that means you love yourself more, and you begin to trust that there's love out there for everything. Yes, there are people out there who don't want to share, don't want to put themselves out there, but on the path, it's a part of it. A part of it is, this is who I am, and for right now, this is what I believe, but I know I'm in constant change. I have had all kinds of thoughts about me on my journey, but I realized the only thought that mattered was the one I had. Who did I believe I was? Who did I believe was speaking to me, coming through me? The action of the healing, where did it come from? And that's how I'd really learned so much, is having to define it for myself. When you don't pay attention and don't put the importance of knowing, you'll never discover the answers. It's not much different than speaking to the little guy going to third grade. You got to get excited and want to know more about it, because it'll speak to you. It'll show you. You have to be willing. And that will can't be in your egotistical will. It must be in God's will. My team would always say to me, what you do, it's never going to look like what you're doing now. And I worked with DK and had this whole program for teach healing, and it was working. People, well, what do you mean this isn't what I'm going to do? Well, it's like my life work. And it was just the beginning. And I can't tell you how many times it's changed. Well, you've seen, I've done angel readings. No, it's not that we do anymore. You have to move up to this. It's a continual movement for whoever is on their path, because you're always going to keep becoming more light, more love, more kindness, more an example for other people to grow from. And we had our friends. I don't think they're on today. Okay, let me read that in a minute. That were in Paris and wanted to get home to Switzerland, and their train was not coming. So they wrote us, and my husband and I, we both thought about it for a few moments, and we get the next text. Train's here. The thoughts become so powerful. You just got to work with it. You just got to work with it. It's not like one day I say that's going to happen and you're going to say, wow, this is going to happen for me. You got to believe. And I know we talked about belief on here. And Chase says that she agrees with me. Cavell, just smiling at Simone, who seems unhappy, is part of loving kindness. Well, I don't know who Simone is. But I hope this week you can change that for her when you begin to show her what loving kindness really is. Is that a child of yours? We can send Simone some energy from God with little pink hearts in it. That might make her smile. You know, children see. Adults not always do they see right away. But children see. And there's someone going by the window, and this is new, so I'm not sure anybody does. When we go to the mall, it's like they come over and walk right up to us. So if it's a child, just hold that light and they'll be drawn to it. And they'll put a smile on their face and look at you different, because they'll see the light, not just who you are. Okay? Loving kindness. Just reading different things. So I would wish from my heart that all of you, you're welcome. Have the opportunity to become awake and learn that you can hold loving kindness that much. Because you might be saying to me, well, I got to live life. You can live life with loving kindness, because it's going to begin to change your feelings and how you place yourself in the world. Trust me, you have to try it. And maybe by tomorrow there'll be some new things people can share with me. Even if it's a grumpy person, like someone that's not really nice to you, and you just stand there and smile and go, I really appreciate where you are in the world. Thank you so much. That's not a lie. We do appreciate who they are, and they're growing. You think about all the people we're disgruntled with in the world. If we could all just love them instead, they wouldn't have any power to be grumpy with, because the love would be so much like a blanket that they would all change. You know? Yes. And then you find it in your life every day in every way, and you wonder why you didn't always do it. It's so fascinating. Why we ever empowered the fear, the loss. You know, loss is just something that happens for us to learn. You can never lose yourself. They're just things. Yes, we do live in a world where we want to have things, but there's also a divinity about that can come. Where do things come from? They come from God. All things come from God. And if there are things you're holding that did not come from Him, well, then something is going to shift. So for us, it's living in a home that's full of blessed things, because that's where they came from. Yes, the money came, then we can buy the blessed things, but that is, God wishes to allow you to receive all He wishes to give you. So let's think about this. If you're holding, well, I want it to look like this, like the girl with the pink Cadillac. She got the pink Cadillac, but it wouldn't run. What good was that? That wasn't what she really wanted. You got to see it moving. You got to see your hair blowing. Whatever it is. And if it's something you don't have the money for and you're in loving kindness, somehow it's going to show its way to you. We were ready to go to a trip. We went to Thailand 4 times. It was like the 3rd time or 2nd time. We were ready to go, had our tickets, but we had to pay the $2,500 fee to be with our teacher. We didn't have it. But we thought, well, we're not going to call them and cancel yet. We're just going to wait and see. It was late at night, and someone we had met before but weren't real friends close with, she handed us over $2,500 in cash. I heard you needed this. Here you go. Don't even worry about paying me back. So how do you like that? When you can move into this space, those kind of miracles will happen. And maybe it's not money that you need. Maybe it's help with something else. There's plenty of things out there that you can request. And He's there. But the question is, are you there with Him? Are you allowing Him in and having it be so? So here's Barbara Ward. Yes, I find when I encounter grumpy people and take the time to say a kind word or greeting, it generally changes their demeanor. That's absolutely true. Thank you, Barbara. And if we can get all of us doing that, it's like a little bit of wave starting, and it's going to become a bigger wave. And that's how you change the world. You know, Maharishi tried to change it with meditation. Wasn't enough people. In the paradigm shift, there's a certain amount of people you have to have or love, you have to hold to shift the whole consciousness of the shift. So we'll try it with loving kindness, which is generated from meditation. But the difference here is you're not going to really live your life sitting and holding meditation 24 hours a day. But we can begin to start and hold it for as long as we're awake, and have our blessings be when we go to sleep that we hold the heart in loving kindness. So it's a little bit different. let's all try it. There's nothing wrong with trying things. And we got to acknowledge the power of love and the power of kindness. I watched a woman's life changed. I think I might have said this when a man who sang songs to everybody, and she wanted her song to be about kindness. Well, when he gave her that song, because they all come from God, he didn't just touch her, he touched all of us. And all the songs were given out to everybody with everyone's permission. I love still listening to that song. I am kind. I desire to be kind. My kindness grows as I see my light. It's beautiful. It goes on and on. And she became a very kind, loving person. Where she was detailed, she'd have two sheets written up of everything she had to do that day. It all went away. This person totally changed who she was by finding loving kindness. So if she understood how it happened, doesn't know, it doesn't matter. It did happen. So there was quite a bit that young man did as he traveled around the world. Don't know where you are. Maybe you had someone like that, and maybe it was him. But it changes everything. So before I leave for today, does anyone have a question or a thought that you want to add to share? You know, it's funny. I only think about what I'm going to talk about a couple minutes before I get on here. Because I've tried to plan it, and that's not God's way. God doesn't plan things. It happens. It's virgin. There it is. That's why sometimes I might say it more than once. Because, spirituality is repetitive. And that's how things get stuck in the mind. Yep. Because you've heard it, and finally, it becomes yours. You take ownership of it. And how grand is that? Yes. So watch out, grumpy people. We're all going to come out in the world today, and we're going to just be the radiance of the love and light of God with a great deal of kindness to share. And you'll see it makes you feel wonderful. And that loving kindness inside of you is just going to grow. And look, it feels like it's been hours. It isn't about time, time is God's time. We can stop time, we can ask time to go on. Sometimes in healing school, we'll do a process and we'll know it feels like 2 hours went around, and here it would be 20 minutes. It's because God does something with time. It makes it different. Doesn't matter. It's about learning that He's always with you. And that no matter what you do, He's going to be there for you. So I'm going to send loving kindness from my heart out to everyone here today. And I hope you do the same with not only people here, but people in your world. So let's begin that wave of loving kindness going out into the world, knowing the purity of it. And the phrase "pay it forward" is so important. Yes, I agree. So we can add that in a way to it if you want. But however you want to do it. I want it to that every moment you can, there's loving kindness being coming out of you. It's going to be the healing that touches where you're upset, where you may have anger, where you have distortion or depression. Let it touch all of it. Just keep letting it move. And Barbara says, thank you. This was a timely lesson. Many blessings. So I'm going to send my blessings out to all of you and to anywhere I go today, more than usual. And let's see how we all feel tomorrow. So, until tomorrow, many blessings.